that's something the town is willing to do, that's something that can be, obviously be brought to the table. But on the other hand, Tom's absolutely right. Even with that, my latest meeting with the tire distributor, basically what they're looking for is that, boy, where can I put my business in the least costly place in New Hampshire? And that has these things, you know, that are near a highway and near an airport, whatever, and has infrastructure ready to go. But if it costs me, you know, $2 million in Londonderry, but it only costs me $1.5 million in Derry or in Hooksett, they're simply gonna go to Derry and Hooksett
All right,
because it has
so,
everything
so,
you need.
so if you had 2 or 3 of these guys, tire warehouse or whatever, and you had them and you said, listen, and some of these guys are gonna kill me for saying this, but if you said to them, listen, if we do the road, and would you sign up for this thing? We're gonna do the road.
Yeah.
Would you sign up to come there? I mean, is that another approach that we can, because to me, guys, I mean, if we take that sign on the dotted line and we pay for the road, okay, after 3 or 4 or 5 years, we get the revenue back. You know, so, again, I'm not into the understanding the TIF as much as I probably should. I've heard really bad things about it, and things I've read that kind of scare me away from it, because it always seems like it's coming back to the taxpayer for some reason, but maybe I need to do more studying on it. I just know that we gotta kind of, and I'm not saying you're not, I'm just thinking myself, maybe we think out of the box a little bit and think of other ways we can get that road there, because I believe that it's gonna be a very tax positive.
There's no question in my mind that that project's gonna be a great one for
Right.
Londonderry.
So,
It's just a
and if
matter
the
of
governor
just
says it, and I know he says he's really for it, I mean, okay, then let's go, let's get it done. I mean, how,
I
So
tell
the
you,
thing
for the
is
last
that
decade, that's
if
where
you
we've
build the
been.
road, it's
Yeah.
$13 million,
yeah.
okay? If you do a 10-year bond, it's about $1.5 million a year to the taxpayers. Ideally, we need a Fidelity, Google East, the old Digital, you know,
Yeah,
those
somebody
Cisco Northeast, to come in and say, you know what, we're gonna build a campus.
Right.
And lo and behold, the road appears. That's the ideal scenario. But in order to shop that kind of thing, it's gotta come from the state, and the state's gotta be firmly in our corner. We've got all of our elected officials have you know, Senator Shaheen's been up there, former Senator Gregg, you know, now Ayotte, Lynch. I mean, everyone thinks it's a great idea.
Yeah,
You
Congressman
know, I mean,
Genta.
Commissioner Campbell, you know, the DOT guy, he thinks it's a great idea.
See, in my view, that it's not just a choice between do we pay for it or do the businesses coming in pay for it. There's more stakeholders. You got the state, who's gonna generate a lot of business profits tax and business enterprise tax. So they're a stakeholder. You get the landowners
Yeah.
who are selling the land, they're stakeholders. You get Manchester Airport, who, all this business is gonna help them, they're stakeholders. So I think when we think about it, if there are probably 5 or 6 major stakeholders, if you lump all the landowners into one, if you take them separately, it's probably, you know, close to 10 major stakeholders. And so that's probably the group that we need to get around the table, so to speak, and say, you know, how do we make this happen so that we share the pain or share the cost and share the benefit? I mean, when they build a building, we get the property taxes. If the building goes vacant, we still get the property taxes. But
Not if the landlord doesn't pay.
well, then we get the property taxes plus interest. I mean, so but we don't want vacant buildings. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying there's very little risk to us once the buildings get built. The state has a best interest of keeping the tenants in there, making a profit, because that's going to generate money for the state, and activity is going to generate money for the airport, and land sales are going to generate money for the landowners, on and on and on. So I think we need a more, and it's an approach I think Andre's been looking at, or continuing to look at, is a collaborative approach among the many stakeholders.
A lot of it's covered in this federal stimulus package that we put together for the federal government. A lot of these questions and everything are in there. I mean, I'd probably just, if he could share that with you, it'd probably help you frame where you're trying to go.
But the reason why I brought that up in the first place is because you posed a question. So if you already had the information, I'd be surprised at the question. So if a committee were to be developed, how best could it assist the council? This is exactly what I think the Economic Development Committee would be able to do, is say, shop this around and say, this is the #1 thing that you gotta get accomplished. We have to get Pettingill Road in. How do we do that?
Yeah.
Take these guys in a room, you guys have all all the stakeholders in the room, you say, how do we get this done? Let's think out of the box, you know, assign them to go see this person, assign them to go do you know, fill this out, you know, apply for that, apply for that. So aggressively go after this. Because
Absolutely.
we know once that's the key to the gate, you know, once we unlock that gate, there's gonna be more development. So I'm just saying that we, you know, we kinda need to direct, the town, the people that work in the town to go after that money aggressively.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm been pushing, because again, in my own little business world, you can't spend more on the bottom if you don't build the top. I've said it before, it's a business model that you know, we're trying to, expenses continue to happen, but we're not getting that additional revenue in that we need to balance it, so.
So how much would you say, 13 million?
With that,
How much money are you looking to get?
For the road.
What, in the grant, how much did you ask for?
actually, it's a $12.3 million roadway, and that includes the sewer. Sewer is about 3.7 of that, and the remainder is about 8 million for the whole project.
So if we did so to top off his question, if we did the 8 million, you think it would be better to get to the sewer? I mean, that's the 3 million, right?
Well, yeah, and that's where the grant comes in. Boy, if you can demonstrate that, boy, if you give us the money for the sewer, boy, boy, actually, if we have the money for the roadway, at least we can say to them, yeah, we got money for the roadway, help us with the sewer. It would be, to me, I think of this fortify our.
So that's like, there's two of them right there.
Yeah.
And then if you have the new and existing prospects that are saying, hey, we're gonna chip into this, or, you know, or somebody at the airport, like you said, the airport, there's a lot of different people that could get involved with this if we joined the committee and had them go after it. You know, if we got that economic development committee, that's one of their purposes.
And the whole, obviously, the ideal is that obviously we want to get this road built, but we want to do it as obviously as least costly for the town, as well as still making it marketable for people the people who are interested in locating there. Again, they're going to look at the dollars and cents as well and say, boy, if it costs me $2 million to locate here and it costs me $1 million to locate in Alabama, guess what, I'm going to Alabama.
Oh, because the question kept coming up all the time when I used to debate this during the election, and people used to say, oh, you know, well, why is there so much open space up there and, you know, buildings that are just vacant? And it's, well, the access, right? I mean, so that's the
Yeah.
thing. I mean, if you can get
Access in the economy at one point in time,
Yeah, I mean,
but now you're seeing those same buildings that were vacant 2 years ago are now being retrofitted for businesses coming in.
John? One additional input, you asked for some thoughts on, given what charge should be given to the Economic Development Committee to reconstitute. I like Joe's idea, it's a good thought in terms of the, putting them to work, finding revenue sources or revenue techniques around that other 8 million. The other thought, the additional thought is to organize the Economic Development Committee into, well, in government terms, we tend to look at trade missions. You know, the governor goes off on a trade mission, sometimes overseas, sometimes to Canada, or sometimes to New York, whatever, to go grab businesses, hopefully, and pull them. And, you know, I would, in the business world, we tend to call it capture team activity. So I'm more comfortable with that terminology. I would say one thought could be to organize the Economic Development Committee into capture teams. And maybe even if you had 2 or 3 capture teams, we could populate counselors also on those teams as to augment the team, or to lend credibility to the team. Say we sent a team to Montreal, for example, to talk to someone about coming to Londonderry. If you had a government official like a counselor as part of that team, then that might lend some credibility. They could speak on behalf of the town. But I think that, you know, that's a thought that we might engage in some capture team activity, maybe some low-cost trips, and beat the bushes, help you beat the bushes to drive more interest, more top-line growth to the community from a revenue standpoint, and try to accelerate some of the development.
Now, you're obviously the director. Again, this is a stupid question because I haven't been here long enough. So you're the director and you have people that report to you, right? And then again, I'm just looking at my own business goals as a division manager, and I obviously set goals for my management. So are there goals that are set by that as far as, because to me, I'm just, again, looking at the definition, economic development. There are goals that your reports have to meet a certain goal or a certain development. In other words, hey, you gotta bring in 3 this, I don't know what the number would be, say 1 or 2 or 3, you know what I mean? Is that how you do with the process?
Right
Government's
now-
different than business, so I just wanted to ask that.
No, I mean, as far as what we're looking to achieve right now, historically, we were, at one point in time, we were averaging 270,000 square feet of new development to the Londonderry a year. Obviously, with the economy going south, that's reduced to about 100,000, but, about 150,000. But it seems to be starting to creep back up again. But as far as, measurement's concerned, boy, yeah, if we can get expansion or new attraction and within that area a year, then obviously we're moving forward consistent with Londonderry's historical growth. And obviously we want to do better. And as far as internal, right now, we within the community development department, we have myself, we have the town planner Tim Thompson, and you got John Vogel. That's really the support for most of our departments as well as the whole town. Much as what you heard tonight with regard to E911, the cemetery trustees, the town schools, land, you name it, the open space task force. He's involved with everything. You even mentioned tonight about the alert rescue. He provided background information and all the mapping for that as well. So you name it, anything that has to do with a map in town or a documentation of where it's at in town, John is involved with everything. But as far as economic development is concerned, it's me. We've laid out, Pettinger Road has been, as a matter of fact, when I was hired by Dick Plant, one of the first things he said to me is that, Pettinger Road, the airport area, is going to be our gem in the future. We have to do everything we can in order to see that happen. And for the last decade, we made sure that the plans were developed, and we got the money for that. It's all engineered, we got all the approvals, so we've done everything we set out to do, but the garden now is this, we're so close to getting it done. And so, yes, there's a concerted effort to make sure that both eyes are on that, has the infrastructure, has everything. It's just, basically, we need the funding. And we aggressively go after everything, the Tiger II, stimulus, EDA, you name it. We talked to the governor, our congressional, our senatorial delegates. Everybody who would listen to us, we were trying to talk about this and try to get money, and we're going to continue to do that.
We should all pitch in for a bonus for whoever gets it.
Well, I tell you,
10%.
At this point, anything, but about being aggressive.
You personally fund that?
No, 10% of the grant.
As far as being aggressive, we're being as aggressive as we can possibly be.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Andre, that's enough. You and I attended our first planning board together, meeting here 11 years ago.
That's right.
Chairman, will you
Right.
take a motion?
I would.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of our council public meeting of April 18th.
Second.
Andre, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm cutting you
Oh, no,
off.
I'm good. No, I'm good. Just shutting this down.
Andre, we appreciate your input tonight and everything.
Yes,
Keep up the good work, and the council will be, not this late hour, but we do have to be more involved in giving you some direction, and hopefully we'll connect the dots and make things happen for you.
I won't be shy.
I know you won't. And, I know you want to take an aggressive standpoint, and I think we have been, and we're willing to go the next extra mile because it's that important.
All right, anyway, thank you, Andre. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor of approving the minutes from 4/18/11, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0, chair votes affirmative. Other business liaison reports, we'll start with Mr. Farrell.
Yeah, I have nothing.
Okay, John?
Nothing.
Tom? I have nothing.
Nothing.
Yep, I attended a recreation committee, and I'll make this very brief. We're asking them to cut. Obviously, we're talking about a lot of money that we need to make up. So I explained to them that, everybody's got a share in that. As much as they look at, obviously, the fields, the way we look at the roads. It's an investment, and if we continue to cut on the seeding and we continue to cut on the feeding of that infrastructure that we actually created, it's actually gonna be a negative some year down the road, because it's gonna cost more money to actually replant, et cetera, and try to revive them, so. Again, another thought, just like we think about the roads sometimes, we gotta kinda think about those fields, because that's an investment.
If I may, which fields are you talking about? The
Well,
West Road field?
what happened was they announced that as, Dave's asked them to go another 12,000, I think it was, or something like that, for, and basically what it was it's gonna be, not being able to.
No, which fields I'm saying?
Just all the fields that are in town, I mean, just, they actually provide, except for the school, we actually provide, through the budget process, they actually provide, I don't know if it's manure, I don't know what it
I
is.
thought
but it's-
our only fields we care for are West Road and the lower
Sergeant.
field up the hill, right?
Yeah, Sergeant Road.
And West Road, I believe the soccer clubs, through their fundraising, through their, the food building they have there, I thought they were,
They help us, but we provide a lot of the maintenance for the West Road fields. We do have some fields scattered about, but we do use a lot of the school fields.
right,
And I think we do have a collaborative relationship to help maintain some of those.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, that ramps up on the one side, because I'm involved with that. I mean, you pass it along to the consumer either by one or two ways. Either you raise the private membership fees, or you raise the taxes, but either way, somebody's gonna pay for that upkeep,
Sorry?
because it's gonna go to naught, just like the roads if we don't invest in
How
those
much help
heavy
are we giving
infrastructure.
LAFA?
So,
How much help are we giving?
I don't have the numbers, all I'm saying is when they were sitting there, they were talking about $12,000, which doesn't seem like a lot of money. They were kind of like saying, guys, we can't, I mean, I don't know how much more we can cut out of this. So it was concerning to me, because again, infrastructure is infrastructure, whether it be grass or roads, it's still part of our investment.
And it's heavily used.
Yeah, and it's heavily used, and it's in the right area. I mean, the kids are our future. We gotta think of that, so.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, so that's it for liaison, Dave.
Two things is that, you remember Llanos came in February and the council approved the chloride reduction program. Well, we'll have a public hearing on the 16th for a grant upwards of $160,000 to buy the equipment he's talking about buying. 20% local match be funded through the capital reserve fund. So that'll be on for the 16th. Also, the council through the years have established a summer schedule. I don't know if you want to do that. I've not scheduled any dates beyond June. But now I'll schedule July 18th, and then we're meeting on July 18th. So give that some thought. I need some direction for that at the next meeting, just so I can start scheduling out meetings. If you want to hold to the first and third, that's fine. I just need some direction.
Yeah, I would recommend we do one meeting in July and one in August.
Yeah, one in July, one in August, it's worked well.
Oh,
Okay.
that's because you guys have been around for a while, but I think we got a lot of things on our plate right now, and I'm willing to continue with what we're doing right now with every other week, if you guys are, so. I think there's a lot of things, especially with Woodmont coming up very fast and furious.
That is true, however, let me tell you, as being in my third year, you want this break. One meeting on that month, at least July, and, yeah, there's a lot of vacations too, and.
Well, yeah, one of the reasons is that the counselors are on vacation and public is off on
Right.
vacation, they're not, and they get kind of cranky with us when we do things, and they come back from vacation, or the end of the summer, and say, what happened? How come I wasn't aware? And, I mean, it's not,
One and one.
yeah,
Yep.
so-
So if you could let me know any blockout dates in August, you're going to be out of town vacations, I'll try to get a convenient date and just circle around so I can start scheduling it out. Be great.
Okay.
And we have the 18th of July already scheduled, so
Okay,
I'll take care of that.
all right, is that it, Dave?
That's it.
All right. All right, so we have board committee appointments, reappointments.
Motion to accept the resignation of Nancy Irwin from the Elderly Affairs Committee.
Okay, motion and a second. We'd like to thank Nancy for her service to her community, and we do accept, we gotta vote on that. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Motion to appoint Deb Nowicki to the Demolition Delay Committee, which is an ad hoc position, no specified time period.
Motion and a second on the floor to accept Deb's participation on the Demolition Delay Committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
M-
Chair votes affirmative.
Motion to go to
carries.
non-public?
I, John Farrell. Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second.
I, John Farrell.
Aye, Tom Dolan.
Aye, Sean O'Keefe.
Hi, Joe Green.
Okay, we are now going into non-public session RSA, per RSA 91-8, semicolon 3-2, and it's for a hardship abatement and a couple of personnel matters.